But as we became teenagers, now we're living in Atlanta. We decided that it was time to break away from our parents and go to Disney World on our own.
Set loose.
Set loose. Let loose.
At Disney.
So at 17 years old or 16 years old, my dad, Kevin, myself, and a couple of our friends, 3-4 of our other friends, spring break is coming up. And we had never been really spring breakers. My dad would not let us go down to Panama City because that was, a good place to get arrested.
I went down there.
Pregnant or, fall off a balcony.
Yeah.
All right, so my dad wouldn't let us do shit like that. And, to be honest with you, we weren't all that interested in that. We were more interested in, finding meaning in Pink Floyd's The Wall down in the basement on 16 hits of, Jesus Christ LSD.
Right.
Because when they put a name like Jesus Christ on the LSD, you're in for a ride.
That's good.
Yeah. We were looking for that. Well, I was looking for that Jesus Christ. You got that Jesus Christ, man? You got that Jesus Christ? And it was good acid. Good acid, man.
Good clean.
Good, clean acid. Lots of visuals, dude. Are you seeing trails yet? I got the trails, man. I got the trails. Can you taste the metal in the back of your tongue? I got it, dude. I'm seeing trails. I got the wigglies. You got the wigglies? Like hair. You feel like your hair is growing? You feel like you're becoming a werewolf? And, we were experimenting, or I was. I won't speak for Kevin, but I was well into my drug experimentation. Yes. Peyote, LSD, whatever,
Expanding your mind.
Expanding my mind. I think I'd even done cocaine at this point. I mean, I was a hooligan, basically. But we got this idea, as spring break is approaching, why don't we go to Disney World? Kevin and I both had jobs, and we both had just enough money, we felt like, to get one hotel room for all of us. And then we could go down to Walt Disney World. Now, we couldn't stay at Walt Disney World, but we could stay maybe at the Embassy Suites. And the Embassy Suites had 2 rooms per room. There was 2 bedrooms. Right. Yeah, that's what they call it, the suites, right? Yeah. Every room is a suite. And so they had 2 rooms and then a living room.
Yeah, with the pull-out couch.
That's right. And so we were like, that'll
work.
We can do this.
Yeah.
Right? We got this.
We got this.
And so my dad agreed.
I got it.
So my dad agreed. He allowed us to do it. He said, okay, you kids can go. I'll buy the tickets for you. I'll put my credit card down for the hotel and be safe. Have fun. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
We went down there, and within 15 minutes of getting outside the city of Atlanta, we started eating LSD. And we had a bag full of ecstasy and a bag full of pot. I think someone had mushrooms. And I mean, I don't know what we were thinking, but we went down there and we got to the Embassy Suites and we checked in. We drove.
We drove?
Yeah.
How long of a drive is that?
Just 6 hours.
From Chicago?
No, from Atlanta. We're living in Atlanta.
That's right. Okay.
So it's just, maybe at the time it was 8 hours because, now we drive faster than we did back then. Back then the speed limit was 55. Now it's 85 or whatever, 112 or however fast people go.
Yeah.
And so we get down to Orlando and we get to Disney World. And the first thing we do is we check into the hotel. So we go, we check into the hotel, and everyone has eaten acid or something, right? So we are all like, you can imagine us checking in. Hi. Cool, man. Is that a computer? Sweet. Can we have a bed near the pool? I'm sorry, sir, the pool? Yeah, can you have a bed near the pool? The pool's inside. It's inside. Sweet. They knew right away. They knew. They could probably smell us coming. They were like, let's put these guys up on the top.
Right, away in the corner.
Away from everybody else,
Right.
yeah. And then they probably thought better of it, like someone's going to die. If you've ever been to an Embassy Suites, they're all famous because they have atriums.
Yes.
Like it's a big square, and then on the outside of the square are the hotel rooms, and then there's a big atrium where you could, huge atrium, and it goes, it's just a big open middle, right?
Yeah.
So we get a hotel room. It's me, Kevin and I, 2 other guys, and 2 girls. So it's 6 of us all together. And so me and this girl are going to share a bed, and Kevin and this other girl are going to share a bed, and then 2 of the guys are going to grab the other room, right? And so we all get changed and we all get ready and we go out for the evening. We decided we needed to get something to eat. Why we decided we needed to get something to eat, I have no idea. No one eats on acid. That's not what happens. You're not hungry. There's no hunger. No. I don't know if you've done LSD out there, but if you've ever done LSD, here's what happens. you lose everything. Basically goes out the window. Like you have no semblance of time or space. If you can even make out shapes or colors, you're doing well. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's just everything, you're in a black hole, basically, with lots of like pretty lights and, things like that. So we go out and have something to eat, upon which all of us order food, but no one eats the food. Yeah, we have now taken more acid, and we are just sitting there staring at us like
God.
this. Meanwhile, I have a tendency to freak out sometimes. So I was like freaking out. I'm like, they know, everybody knows, we all know, everyone knows. Walt Disney World security, they call my dad. I don't even know. I don't want to go to Disney like this. I don't want to go to Disney like this. Now I'm scared that I'm going to ruin my childhood if I go to Disney like this. But we managed to make it through the night, and we go the next day. The first place that we go is to Epcot Center.
Okay.
And Epcot Center is the second park that was built. It's the one with the big ball. Everyone's seen it. Yeah, and it's mainly an educational place. At that time, it was just mainly education. They had a couple of rides, but mainly it's these, you walk around the world, right? You walk around the world.
I haven't been to Epcot, so.
Yeah. You walk around there's like 12 different lands, Japan land, German land, Canada land, whatever.
Okay.
And you walk around this big lake, and around the lake is you walk into another country. Essentially, is what you do. That's the back of the park. And in the front of the park, it's all dedicated to like science and nature. Right? Okay. So they have innovations about, I don't know, about ExxonMobil or something. I'm not even sure what it's about. They have the big ball, which you can go up into. It's a ride where you can just, you go into the ball, and then it takes you up and it takes you down.
Oh, okay.
It's like a dark ride. So you go up all the way to the top of the ball. Meanwhile, the entire time you're going through time. Like they start you off at the beginning of time, and then that
sounds fun.
It's fun. It's great, right?
Yeah.
And you move through this timeline all the way up to the present. And then you go backwards all the way down as you move, to further into the future or whatever it is.
Okay.
So, we're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at like 10 in the morning at Epcot Center. And me and the two girls had ridden in one car, and Kevin and some of the guys had ridden in another car. And while we were driving, one of the girls suggests that now would be a good time to take the ecstasy, right?
Okay.
Let's each take 2 hits of this ecstasy, and that way we'll really have a great day, right? Well, man, did we have a great day that lasted all of an hour that felt like 24 hours. So the first thing we did was we went in that goddamn dark ball. And I'm like, I can see my life flashing before my eyes. Which year is it? Wait, we can't read and write yet? What? You're going through time. So they're like, and then the
prehistoric, and then
cavemen would write on the walls with, and I was like, who's talking to me? I thought we could read. We don't have televisions. I was freaking out, Holy, like freaking the fuck out, because I honestly thought we were moving through a timeline of space and time. I thought like this, like it was linear. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So by the time we got down to the bottom of the ball, I am in full frenzy mode. And the other two girls are like, they're like, la, 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 la.
Right. I love you.
Yeah. Scarlet begonias under the moonlight. Da, 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 da. They got their flowy dresses on and they're doing dances, Everybody knows. I know everybody knows. How did I know everybody knows? Because I got 2 half-naked hippie chicks running around the flower beds of, Disney singing, talking to Jerry Garcia, and me crying in the corner. The big ball's gonna come off its hinges and just roll on us. Don't you see? It's all coming to an end. It was a mess. We were all the disaster.
Oh my God. What were Kevin and the other 2 guys?
I don't even know where the fuck they were. Who knows? Well, Kevin and the other guys, they were they had already gotten to the park a couple hours or a couple of minutes before us, and we eventually caught up with them. And Kevin is rolling a joint right there in the middle of fucking Epcot. It's 1992. It's not 2021 when, rolling a joint is just another day at the office. When fucking Elon Musk is lighting up with Joe Rogan and no one gives a shit about your weed. Yeah. Back then it was a big deal. It was a felony. You go to jail for that.
Yes.
Kevin's rolling up a doob on a bench in the middle of Epcot. And I am freaking. I'm like, Kevin, you can't do that. Bryan, chill out, man. What's your fucking problem, dude? You're always tripping out. And I'm like, I'm not tripping out. We're going to get arrested. And he's like, there's not even cops in Disney World. It's just security guards. Don't worry about it. No one cares. Apparently no one did, because Kevin just lit up right there. Kevin's got a big fat fucking Bob Marley. He's like, you can't even smoke in the park, let alone Meanwhile, Kevin's got balls of steel. With his hemp necklace and his, hair down to his shoulders. He's got 3 hemp chokers on.
He's 3 deep.
His Birkenstocks that smell like cow nuts. His corduroys. It's 92 degrees outside. He's got corduroys on. The long sleeve shirt.
Smoking a joint.
On a hacky sack that he keeps on breaking out in the line. Chink, chink. Hacky sack. Don't mind if I do. Remember hacky sacking?
Yeah, of course.
The fuck was that? Yeah. It's a beanbag. Yeah. It's a beanbag you kicked, and how many times you could kick it?
Just bounce it around.
Yeah, I mean, so the whole time Kevin's like, Kevin's smoking. He's trying to like he's lighting up this joint. They're passing it around, and meanwhile, I am literally doing like big circles around them, like looking for security guards. I'm like, here comes somebody. Kevin's like, here comes everybody. What do you want to do? But I don't think Kevin has taken the amount of ecstasy.
No.
You have to understand back then, too. MDMA was not there was synthetic MDMA, but what ecstasy was back then was pressed heroin and speed. That's what it was. It was a speedball. It really wasn't like what you think of today, like the chemical MDMA. People would pass off speedball, which again is a amphetamine and some kind of opiate derivative that you would put together along with some kind of hallucinogen in it, and then so you just were really fucked and it was a much different thing back then than it is now, right? Where there's it's 52% pure, 92% pure, and it makes you feel it. After this whole incident with Kevin in the joint, I was totally fucking freaked, right? And I'm sure I had taken 3 or 4 hits off the joint too. So now I'm fully engulfed and like,
kicked it in.
Yeah. Like, in China, they have the big dragons and they do the whole thing, okay, with the sticks on the, ching, 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 da, la, 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 la. Yeah. So, the big ceremonial dance that they do.
Right.
And so they do this every hour on the hour in Epcot. And as we're walking around and these girls are, flowy dresses and, no bras on. We go to China and they have one of these things, right? With the dragons, and they're doing a show. And I am like, I think the dragon is eating me. I'm on the ground like, At which point, some mother who obviously understood what I was going through, motherly figure comes up and puts her hand on my shoulder and is like, son, are you okay? And I'm like, I think so. And she's like, did you take anything today? And I was like, some orange juice.
Right.
And she's like, okay, I got you. Do you want to come get out of the sun and get cooled off? And I was like, that's a really good idea. Yeah. And so she bought me a bottle of water, or she brought me a bottle of water, and she sat me down in this and she sat and talked to me for a few minutes.
Yes, that was
which
nice.
Calmed me down. Yeah. But as soon as I got up off the bench, I was right back to freaking out. And so I went to the ladies, who now one of them was starting to kind of freak out a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
And so just being around people in the hot sun and all this other stuff. Yeah. And so we made a collective decision. Let's get out of here as quickly as we possibly can without being noticed. So now it became like a mission to walk through all these other human beings all the way to the front of the park and out to the car.
Okay.
There's only one problem.
You didn't have a car?
We don't know where the fuck we're parked. That parking lot is 650,000 cars. And no one thought to find out which row we were in.
Oh, God.
None. We had no idea. No. We walked out to that parking lot and all of us realized at the same time, shit. Do you remember where we parked? No, I don't. Was it to the right of that? I don't know. Was it to the left of the monorail, to the right of the monorail?
That's like a Seinfeld episode.
It is a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
And so we began to walk in endless circles around this parking lot, trying to find this fucking Saturn Mirage or whatever the fuck she was driving. And we couldn't find it. It wasn't there. So at one point, a Disney security truck comes up.
Oh, great.
Right? Hey kids, hey guys, And I was like, oh shit, we're all going to Disney jail. Yeah. we're going to the clink. Mickey's gonna rape us. We're gonna get little mouse sticks in our asses. And he's like, hey guys, he jumps out of the truck and he's like, come on over. He's got it pulled over, the lights going in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And so I think we kind of sheepishly walk over and he's like, hey guys, how you doing? And we're like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I need my mommy.
Right.
I want my mommy. And he says, listen, I understand. You know, his mouth's all big because I'm tripping. He's like, I understand. And he's like, what are you guys doing? Like, everything's like, it's all cartoonish because I was like, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, we're looking for our car. And he goes, oh, where'd you park? We don't know. Did you park at Epcot? We don't know. And he says, don't worry. We're going to help you find your car. And he asks what kind of car it is. And he finds the car.
Really?
He found the car.
They had some kind of a system because I'm sure you weren't the only ones that did that.
No,
too.
of course not. You know, we were exactly 6.5 feet from the fucking car the entire time, right? That's how we were. We were like 2 rows over. So he's like, you know, he waves us over. Beep, beep. The car, you know, I found a car. The car fitting the description, right? Car. And so we go over there. And he goes, okay, kids, you need any other help? Are you going very far? Do you need any help getting home? Do you want to take a cab or something? And one of the girls was luckily, you know, no, we got it. Uh-huh. And so he's okay, goodbye. And we're like, okay, goodbye. And then we go to unlock the door and realize that we don't have the keys. They're actually locked in the car.
Oh my God.
In the ignition.
What? In the ignition?
That had been running.
What?
The entire time.
No.
Yes. What? So now, not only, so this is like, we're talking about
happen?
3 hours because it's a Saturn fucking Mirage in 1992. There's no, they have automatic locks, but you can lock the doors, right? You can just push the thing down and lock the door.
Yeah, they just forgot to turn it off.
We left the car on, the battery died, we were out of gas, and the keys were locked in the car. We had no idea what to do. We didn't want to call the security guard because we knew he knew something was up. Yeah, this day just goes on and on forever. And so guys make their way back and they realize that now we're in real distress, right? Yeah. We're hot, we're sweaty, we're sitting on the back of this car. We've gone nowhere since he left us 2 hours ago, right? And he's like, what's going on, guys? And we're like, nothing. We're out of gas. We need to charge. We're high on ecstasy. We got to make it to San Clemente to see the dead. And he's like, by the way, one of the girls who was with us was like, don't worry, we can just camp out here all night. And I was like, what? Yeah, but what type of problem is that going to solve? Right. I don't know, but it'll be morning. So they eventually, without any drama whatsoever, they got us a can of gas. They popped open the thing and they charged the car.
Oh,
and they did all that. Yeah. So now we've been out in the parking lot for like 5 hours. Right. And when we get in the car, the girl that we were with, she just couldn't drive. She just was not in the right mental frame to drive. And I certainly was not either because my freak out had gone from bad to worse. I bet. I was now just like crawled up in a ball on the top of the car. I was like, I don't want to do anything. I want to go nowhere right now. Yeah. And so what we ended up doing was we just turned the car on, let the air conditioning run. Right. And we all just kind of sat there for a couple of hours until we came down listening to Grateful Dead music. And every 30 minutes, you see that guy, that security guard. Bam, bam. We'd be like, and he'd wave back to us because he knew. Yeah, he was like, just let him come down. It's going to be a hell of a headache when they get down, but let them come down. Oh, this went on for 4 days. Day one. That was day one. Oh. This went on for 4 days.
It did. Every day.
It did. I swear to God. One night in Epcot, we went back to Epcot because Epcot is the coolest place. If you can manage to, hold your shit together. Yeah. Epcot is the coolest place because of all the lights and there's a big fireworks show and there's, water and all this other stuff. Yeah. And so one night, the thing is that Disney, at least they wouldn't at the time, they had a policy that there was a closing time. Yeah. But it was kind of a suggestion. Mm. They weren't going to kick you out if you were still hanging around. Okay. They just figured eventually you'd leave. Yeah. Well,
and by the rides close?
The rides close. Yeah, everything closes, right? Everything closes and sections of the park eventually get roped off. Yeah. But the truth is that, at that time, at least in 1992, no one was going to fucking bother you, right? Yeah. They were just like, well, eventually they'll leave. Yeah. What are they going to do?
What are they There's nothing left to do.
We're going to be here all night, so it doesn't really matter anyway, right? There's, Disney World doesn't close. Yeah. It's just there's times when people are in the parks with the workers and times when the workers are just there by themselves doing whatever they're doing. Right. And so one night, we purposefully kind of tried to avoid all of the security and the workers so we could just hang out there because Kevin wanted to roll a doobie and get smoking again. Kevin was on a mission, just get as high as he could all the time inside. So, so we did this.
So you stayed after hours.
The park might have closed at 10 and we were there at 12. I mean, we must have been there for 2.5 hours. At one point, literally just hiding behind a bench, just walking around, being unbothered. By the time midnight rolled around, there were very few people left in the park, except for the occasional employee who was either leaving the shift or going to a shift, right? And they really didn't bother us. And there were security guards, but we didn't really see them. And if we saw them, we were too high to see them, so it didn't really matter. But the lights were still on and the music was still playing. I mean, most of the lights were still on. The music was still music plays 24 hours a day and never shuts off. At least that's my experience, right?
And you've tested it.
And I've tested it. Yes. We were there till 12:30, Holdley. We were in that place all by ourselves, just walking around. Now, we couldn't ride anything. Yeah, so really at the end of the day, there's no point. I can't ride anything, can't do anything. But we were there, having fun, getting loaded. We defiled Disney. Yeah. This entire story that I had made up in my head that Disney World is this magical place where things like drugs don't enter into the picture, right? No, I defiled in one fine trip. Yeah, in one vacation, one trip, I managed to spend 4 days, anything but sober, fucking Mickey all over the place. Or high.